2.25, so there's...
All right, today we're gonna be answering all of your swim and training questions that we got on Instagram while building a Destro machine, our new partner. Oh, jeez. Oh my God. All right, Sean, before we head into our very first question, I have a question for you. Why are we building these Destros?
So we have a new pro team that we started. Current members are just Calvin and Marina. We have a couple potential athletes joining us later on. But I wanted a couple methods for progressive overload, and so this is one of those methods. I'm a big fan of tracking progress using different modalities, and this is one of those modalities, and Destro was kind enough to send us one, so we're gonna build one while we answer questions.
And hopefully it's easy.
Connect the wheel brackets to the frame.
Okay. All right, our first question is from Draco Dude Mel. Any advice on starts and dolphin kicks? It slows me down in races.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Careful.
That's another one of those questions that it heavily depends on where your starting point is. So if it starts and, where does it start and underwaters?
On dolphin kicks.
And dolphin kicks. So if you have an insane ability to jump already, then you probably don't need to work on that. If you can't really jump high or far, I would really hammer that for a while. In terms of dolphin kicking, the #1 rate limiter that we see in terms of dolphin kick speed and ability is usually mobility, specifically shoulder flexion and T-spine extension mobility. So I would assess those, figure out if that's your weak point, and if it is, I would attack those.
All right, our next question is from Rado_R Sedano 75. How to prevent tightness when competing in a 100 free? Thanks for any feedback. If you define tightness as like limited mobility, something that I like to do before my races or even practice is a pre-water warm-up to help you get into shapes that you would in the water. So I like to do a lot of like shoulder flexion or scapular posterior tilt, just because it helps me get into a better positioning for my streamline. I personally like to do like banded exercises, just to kind of help me warm up. I feel like that helps me prevent tightness later on.
I think it really depends on how they're defining tightness. I have a feeling they're defining it as like the burning sensation that they feel at the end, where you like feel like you're locking up and you can't move. If that's how they define it, then it really comes down to training well or strategizing your race well. But if you're training well, then you should be able to reduce it, but at the same time, the 100 free, like the last 15, if you do it right, it's gonna hurt either way. So I don't think it's something you can avoid completely.
Embrace the tightness at the end, I guess.
Yeah, it depends on how they define it. Use 2.25, so there's 16 of these.
I'm guessing it's these guys.
Yeah, these seems to be 16.
In the comments below, comment if you like doing these kind of building activities where you follow an instruction manual and you build it up yourself, or if you hate these. I know Sean really likes doing this kind of stuff.
No.
I thought you said you like it.
No, you know who does is Tebow.
Tebow likes Legos.
Yeah, that's why he likes these too. He loves IKEA. We're missing one.
All right, the next question that we have is from Alex.Stevens 2010. What gym exercise would you recommend for improving your block starts? So kind of similar to the previous question, it generally depends, but if you want like a general answer, improving your broad jumps and vertical jumps can help. Another one is training your feet. So think of like if you have unstable feet or very weak feet, it's like you're doing a start with rollerblades on. So it's not going to be too helpful if you have very weak feet. So just doing like barefoot pogos or barefoot single leg RDL isometrics or something like that.
I think the biggest bang for buck thing is going to be improving your vertical jump and broad jump. And to improve that, it will depend on if you're already really strong and have a low plyometric ability, or if you have a high plyometric ability but you're not very strong. Kind of figuring that out first and then adjusting your approach from there would be helpful.
All right, how's the Destro progress going?
Pretty good. Found the right, I don't know what these are called, but these are a time saver.
All right, the next one, Lil Hui is big. He is going to be coaching for us this summer. So Hui, how do you avoid burnout? Very good question.
It depends on if you're asking about burnout in your career or if you're asking about burnout in your athletic career.
Well, let's go athletic career just for the sake of the...
For the sake of the video?
Yeah.
Okay, because the career one I have a controversial take.
Just go athletic, because we're training,
yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah, so we're going to define burnout as athletic burnout and not career burnout. I have two different opinions on that. If it's athletic burnout, I think you have to do an introspective deep dive into what's causing the burnout. So for example, like when I have anxiety, sometimes I have like general anxiety and I don't know where it's coming from, but if I sit down and like really think about it, then usually I can pinpoint to what it is. So if you take that same approach and then think about what is causing the burnout, you know, is it your practice schedule? Is it the coach that you're working with? Is it the type of training that you're doing, etc.? Try to really pinpoint what's causing it and then make the adjustments as necessary. The other thing is making sure you're taking scheduled breaks. I don't think we were meant to be swimming or training 50 weeks out of the year. Strategically planning breaks around your training will help with breakout or burnout.
Also, this is just a PSA to parents out there, but just relax and chill out on your kids.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Like I've seen way too many parents who, if they don't drop at a certain meet, even at a championship level, like at a championship meet, they'll like grill their kid, and the only thing that's gonna do is make your kid hate the sport more. There are very few people who get motivated by getting grilled by your parents.
Yeah.
So if you add, it's not the end of the world. Like we're not all gonna become Michael Phelps. I think what's more important is to take care of their relationship to the sport and fitness in general. So,
I think one of the main reasons Sid and I are still swimming and we still love to swim is our parents never pushed us to swim. In fact, my parents told us to take it easy because we trained way too hard in high school. I'm very blessed for that because they like never pushed us to go to practice or anything. We were just so self-motivated that we just did it on our own. And so I think like for my kids, I want my kids to participate in a sport that they love, that I don't have to push them to do it. So that's another way you can avoid burnout.
Okay, next question by Adrian C. Otegui. How long does a session usually take you on average? On average, for me personally, probably like 45 minutes to an hour. Just depends. If I'm tapering, about 30 minutes. If I'm not, an hour and a half. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
An hour and a half if I'm like off season, just going for it. So it just depends. Next question by Michael_teen. I think you gave us a question last time too, so thank you. What y'all favorite tech suits? Well, we do work with Tier. I personally really liked I've only used their, I think you have the Venzo?
I have the Venzo, yeah.
So I use the Victor. I use the Victor, I really like that. It's super comfortable. Back in college, I used to use Mizuno a lot, but Mizuno, while it's a very good tech suit, is very uncomfortable. But the Tier, I think, is the most comfortable tech suit that you'll wear. So that's my favorite.
Yeah, we're getting a couple of Shockwaves shipped to us very soon too, so I've never tried that one, but I'm excited to try it. Thank you, Tier.
I'm guessing this is the actual cables or ropes or whatever that pull it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Moving on. We are, I don't even know if we're halfway, but hopefully our questions pace matches the Destro building one pace. Our next question from Cynthia Lan, 007. I think Cynthia used to lift before I was here.
Yeah.
Right? I think Cynthia used to lift with us. Yeah. How do you get ready for two big swim meets that are really close together? For her, it was league and CIF back-to-back weeks. Very good question.
The way you get ready for that is to make sure you have a really good preparation months leading up to it, because if you're just, a lot of high school athletes, they just start preparing like 3 months before it, and they don't have the capacity to handle two meets back to back like that. So you have to have a really good preparation and capacity to handle all that.
This might be, I don't know if this is a great answer, but technically maybe prioritize one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it is hard to peak twice within back-to-back weeks. So, like for example, Arizona State, their Pac-12s and NCAAs were back-to-back quite often. Not week back-to-back, but they're very close. So you just kind of have to prioritize one that you want to do better in. Here, you want me to just put these in while?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh wait. Are they gonna fit?
What?
It's not, it's not lined up.
Try it before I tighten it.
Favorite core movements for aquatic athletes?
So I don't have a favorite core movement, but I have a favorite core training principle.
Okay.
And that's to, one, build to the full standing ab wheel. And then the second one is to build to the front lever. Not everyone's gonna get there, but there are progressions you can take to get there. The other principle that I like is to use high strength movements, meaning rep ranges are anywhere from the 1 to 12 rep range, and it's challenging. So we don't really like to do a high core volume just because they're already getting that in the pool. And so we try to train on the left side of the force velocity curve and do higher, use movements with a higher strength stimulus.
I'll answer this question just straight up, just my personal favorite, but I love any kind of GHD core movements. I just like using the GHD. I think the GHD isolates the core. Ooh, need to like, yeah, anything on the GHD.
Why doesn't it move? It's smoking. Do not over tighten these bolts. I think I definitely over tightened it.
Yep. Next question by Draco Dude Mel. Again, thank you. Is it necessary to exhale all the air before taking a breath in freestyle? Thanks for your content.
No.
The answer is no.
In fact, you can actually keep a little bit of air in your lungs and don't exhale it completely, so that you use the air in your lungs as buoyancy to help you float.
All right, moving on by arc_ma.04. How's Kenta doing? So to the viewers, Kenta is a new coach that we onboarded recently, and he is helping a lot on our swim coaching side. I'm helping us coach Calvin and Marina, and he's doing really well. What else is he doing? He's doing something for you right now.
He's our data analyst intern, so he's taking a bunch of the data that we record from these buckets and the power racks and all the times that we get, and he's recording them all for us and analyzing it. And yeah, he's doing really well. He showed up at 8:55 for a 9:30 session, so that's always a good sign.
All right, next question from our very good friend Swimmer Mario. If you had to pinpoint it, what was the moment you decided to launch ASP and why? I think this is a Sean you question because I wasn't there when you launched ASP.
Inception.
Yeah.
So ASP actually started in this garage. It actually started with Simon Lamar. He came home in, I believe, January of 2019 because he was trying to make the US Olympic team in open water. And so I started training him for free in here because we wanted to give him every opportunity to try and make the Olympic team. And then I started posting content about it, and then it just kind of spread from there. People started asking, hey, can I train with you too? Training Simon turned into training a handful of people here. And then in October of 2019, I reached out to Andrew Arredondo at Fibrea, and then we began subleasing there.
Very cool. All right, maybe we do a halfway update on the Destro. All right, we have like probably 5 or 6 more questions left, I think, but I don't know how much more of this Destro we have, honestly. But we got all these screws in, and then now I think we're supposed to put these frames together.
Yeah, it looks like these are all the same.
All right. This one's screwed in, right? All right, next question from VivCal0105, one of our athletes' parents. Thanks, Vivi. What are exciting programs that you will be launching soon? So on my story, I posted, we have an exciting announcement coming soon. So I'm guessing it's in reference to that. We're gonna be launching, or should be launched when this video is up already. So it should be launched by then. ASP SWIM, basically gonna be 6 swim workouts a week, but we're gonna be posting all the swim practices that our pro group is gonna be doing in preparation for LA 28. So if you guys wanna join in on the journey and help them get to LA 28 by being a part of our community and cheering them on and doing their workouts, we'll also be uploading like their times and data and stuff like that as well. So if you wanna join that, there's a link in the description below. And all of that, our ASP SWIM is gonna be on our website called aquaticsp.com, which is going to have loads of other dryland training training, educational modules, community, an entire aquatic community. And we're also going to be posting all our other future programs on there as well. All right, up next, Eugene Ryu 33. What are some tips to improve recovery as a 15-year-old swimmer? So the big three, as I like to call it, for recovery is sleep, hydration, nutrition. Hit your 7+ hours of sleep. If you're 15, hopefully 8 hours or more. Nutrition, you know, balanced diet. I get it, if you want to eat junk food, try to balance it out. I love junk food. And then hydration, this one's big. A lot of times I see kids, I ask them how much water they drink at school, and they'll show me a 500 milliliter water bottle, which is not even close to enough hydration for an athlete. So stay hydrated throughout the day, before practice, during practice, after practice as well. And I think if you take care of those three, recovery will improve.
Should I say my big three in high school?
What?
My big three in high school was don't take AP classes, don't do your homework, and then get lots of sleep.
Well, yeah, so
Controversial take.
it's very controversial, but there's a point to it. Out of high school, I had 26 credits of AP, but I barely studied. And ultimately, it didn't matter that I had great grades coming out of high school. Like, I get it, if you're going into medical and stuff that require good grades and good degrees or whatever, I totally understand. But at the end of the day, I don't think it matters too much. Again, I'm not saying don't completely neglect it, still try your best, but also prioritize recovery, especially if you're trying to be a student athlete in college.
We're supposed to put this on before I screwed it on. I have to unscrew everything.
Well, a part of great stories and vlogging is a conflict halfway through, right? So
This is our conflict.
this is the conflict.
I gotta undo it.
And it wasn't staged, we were just
Stupid.
yeah. So while we undo that, let's go to our next question. From MP.Mustard.
Marta.
Yeah, Marta and her brother Kobo, which is the following question. They trained with us over the summer. They visited us from the Philippines. So thank you for the question. If you weren't swimmers, what sport would you do? Well, yeah, I mean, right now I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I don't know, maybe I feel like I would have gone into like wrestling or judo. I feel like would have been really fun for me. But honestly, I love baseball, so I feel like I would want to be a baseball player if I didn't swim. I want to be a catcher, I feel like.
Well, I've competed in Olympic weightlifting. I've competed in jiu-jitsu. I plan on competing in jiu-jitsu again at the end of the year. Probably jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I actually really like baseball too. I love throwing baseballs. So apparently I can throw 74 miles an hour?
Yeah, something like that.
With no warm-up.
Key detail.
Key detail.
Starting to look more and more like a Destro. Papel, the one and only. So Kobo, Marta's brother. How would you train if there's no scheduled championship meets in sight?
Yeah, if there's no championship meets in sight, fatigue plays less of a factor into your programming, meaning like you can have more fatigue through your training cycle. And so I would use this period to really hammer whatever your rate limiters are and allow yourself to train hard to help improve those rate limiters. If you have any injuries, I would take care of those at this time as well. If you're prone to injuries, I would figure out what makes you prone to injury and then take care of those as well in this time period.
Also, if you're like in the complete off season, like this is your break, going back to the going back to the burnout question, for those 2 weeks, I don't know, do another sport or something. Try another movement that you're not used to. This is if you're in the off season. So yeah, just have fun with it.
I think we need to unscrew that again. Sure. It didn't say it. I think we again.
Remember how Sean was saying that you shouldn't do your homework and just prioritize recovery? Well, if you do that, you end up a little bit stupid. And this is like our 5th or 4th time taking this thing off because we put it on the wrong way again. So do your homework, guys. Make sure you study. Don't prioritize recovery. And you won't have to rebuild Destros like this. Yeah, my wife just said Destros has nothing to do with this, which is true. This is just us being
User error.
stupid. User error.
This one in first.
We installed it upside down. Oh my god.
Are you guys okay to upload this video?
Yeah, it's a little hot in here, okay?
Well, at least Meaty caught it now.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sure the flow of rope makes sense.
Yeah. All right. This one's on the opposite too. Guys, we need to take a little break from the questions because we need to really fix this. All right, we've been at this same screw for about 20 minutes now. So we had the issue where this whole thing was upside down, but now this screw right here hasn't been able to come off for the past 20 minutes. And honestly, we'd be lucky if we can get it done today.
We'll just go sideways.
So what we did here, this guy wouldn't come off, so we just unscrewed the other part and we just flipped the entire thing over instead.
Just hold it there.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just double check.
All right, we sort of managed to get it. Got it. One of the screws just a little loose, but overall it's pretty, it doesn't move, so it should be fine. Now we attach this top beam on and we're almost done.
Okay, this works.
All right, so there's a big gap because we ran into like 100 different problems. But our last question comes from _Mercury. Want to know which workout to do in off session and what to do during competition is near IMBR. It's actually very similar to the previous question from Kobo. The off season, I kind of mentioned this, so I'm kind of repeating myself, but in the off season, what I like to do is just do like other sports, explore other than swimming. Swimming, you're constantly in an open chain or like non-gravity assisted environment. So do something is assisted with gravity, right? Or do something on land, but move the body in different ways. And it's a good way to prevent, not breakout. I keep saying breakout. Burnout. So I know I'm kind of repeating myself here.
Screwed this part up so it wasn't moving, by the way, so I had to unscrew it.
So yeah, those were basically all of the questions that came in. So thank you guys to everyone who participated in the Q&A. We are almost done with this Destro.
There was one more mistake we made.
Is there?
Yeah, I fixed it though.
Oh, okay. So we learned that we are not the best at making or putting together stuff like this because we made like 100 different mistakes. If you look at the Destro right now, I think it's complete. It's all good to go. Everything moves. Oh yeah, one more thing. We need to put the swim meter on. That's gonna help us calculate the time to 15 meters and time to 25, I think, right, Sean?
I don't know actually.
Okay, well that thing is gonna help us calculate times to certain distances, which is gonna be very helpful in when we put it inside our Excel sheet and then we can track all this data. We're not gonna be doing guesswork training all the way to LA 28. We will be tracking everything and seeing what we can improve upon by looking at all the data. No,
because this goes inside here.
Okay, well,
and then I'm guessing you feed.
Well, looks like we did mess up again. Got the final product. We got this swim meter on there.
I don't think I walked 5 meters.
Probably not. This will track 5, 10, 15, 20 meters for time, which is really cool. Resist it too. This week, we're not gonna be able to use it because we gotta meet this weekend, but we will be using this in our training moving forward. So you'll see this in future vlogs in our training. And we're probably gonna be making a swim training data vlog coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. We will be using the Destros. So Sean's just testing out the 5 meter range right now. It says timing 6.1 seconds.
To 5 meters?
Yeah, for 5 meters.
That was about 6 seconds, right?
Yeah, so it works.
Okay, cool.
All right, so that took way more than it should have. We spent like close to 3 hours making that, which should have probably been like an hour. Hope we answered all your questions. If you have any future questions, we host Q&As every once in a while, so go follow us on our Instagram at aquaticsportsperformance.com at Aquatic Sports Performance. If you guys like that video, make sure to like and subscribe. We come out with videos every single week.